You did?
Yeah.
Brother,
We might edit that if I can.
that's nice.
Oh, they're not gonna talk?
Here we go. Good evening and welcome to the City Council, Belvedere City Council Committee of the Whole meeting of July 27, 2026. If the clerk will help me with the roll call, please.
Albertini,
Here.
Brereton,
Here.
Flurry,
Here.
Frank absent, Gramkowski. Here. Hoynes,
Here.
McGee,
Here.
Montalbano absent, Peterson,
Here.
Stevens.
Here.
8 present.
Thank you. We don't have anybody registered for public comment this evening. We do not have a public forum this evening. If we flip the page to page 2, reports of officers, boards, and special committees. Item 1, public safety unfinished business. We have none. Item 2, public safety new business. Item A, police department update. Chief Woody, good evening.
Good evening, Mayor. Thank you very much. Since last month, on July 2nd, we had a swearing in for our newest officer, Neil Rossi. The pension board met this month and determined that one of our officers was disabled due to a training incident a couple of years ago. She has since been on either sick leave or disability, and then the pension board determined that she qualified for a disability pension. The Fire and Police Commission met and terminated the employment of one of our officers from the FTO process. The Fire and Police Commission appointed Michael DeFrancisco and Esteban Castanon as probationary police officers. We'll be having a swearing in for them next Thursday, August 6th at 9 a.m. here at City Hall. So if anybody's available, always love to see you. They, along with Neil Rossi, will be attending the Basic Academy at the end of August. We're still down 3 officers, but we have peer interviews on August 4th, where we'll be interviewing a mix of both lateral and entry-level applicants. We have 1 officer currently on long-term leave. We have 3 officers in the FTO program and 1 currently at Basic Academy, Sauk Valley, looking to graduate in August. Next Tuesday, August 4th, is National Night Out, which is a Tuesday from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m., Big Thunder Park. We'll have food, canine demonstration. Belvedere Park District will have their park and play with games, face painting for the kids and some of the adults, I imagine. If available, calls for service dependent. The fire department sometimes able to come out and spray the kids with fire hose. We'll have bouncy houses, and the bookmobile from the library will also be there. So if you have some time and available, please come out. Always love to see you. And then the city, county, and Cherry Valley Police Department, as well as the Belvedere Fire Department, will be participating in active shooter training this week. That'll conclude my update, and I'll answer any questions that you may have.
All right, thank you, Chief. If anybody has any questions for Chief Woody, Alderman Hoynes.
Thank you, Your Honor. Chief, for the 4th of July, for the big 4th of July, the 250th, how many citations did we have, or did we have any for the fireworks?
Yes, there were citations that were written. I believe we had 13 citations.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions for Chief Woody? Chief, the fair doesn't start, it's the following Tuesday, correct? Because I know we've had a conflict at that. You may be surprised, it might have a bigger turnout than we have had, because I think that since we've started down there, it has been in conflict, correct? Or?
Yeah, the last 2 years was the same week that the fair started. The fair is until the 11th this year, so yeah, we are anticipating a little bit larger group, and I think for those that are able to make it out, we'll have a good time.
Good deal. All right. No other questions for Chief Woody. Thank you very much, Chief. Item B, Fire Department update. Chief Shadle, good evening.
Good evening, Mayor. Thank you. In the past 30 days, we responded to 327 calls for service. bringing our average to just under 11 per shift. 217 were medical, 35 were public service, 14 were hazardous situations, 10 were fires, and 3 were law enforcement support. The 10 fire calls included 4 structure fires and 6 outside fires. 35 public service calls included 14 lift assists and 14 citizen assists. Of the 217 medical calls, the higher acuity types included 15 breathing problems, 10 chest pain, 7 seizures, 7 altered mental status, 3 strokes, 3 unconscious patients, and 1 cardiac arrest. The remainder were illness and injury calls, including 25 falls, 15 motor vehicle collision injuries, 13 abdominal, 8 diabetic, with the balance across other injuries. Of those, the calls, the 4 structure fires, none of them were in Belvedere, so they were all mutual aid calls. We had 2 to Cherry Valley, and then 1 was a District 3, and then 1 to Marengo. Marengo is auto aid to us, so every fire we have, they automatically come and they backfill our station with a ALS engine, so they staff it. So if we're working, there's still an engine here that can provide paramedic service to our citizens for the next call. So we do that back from Marengo. Cherry Valley, there are RIT teams, RIC teams, rapid intervention crews. They're required to be on the outside of all working fire scenes when members are in a IDLH or a dangerous situation. They're required by OSHA to be on standby there. So we are Cherry Valley's, and Cherry Valley is ours. So we went to 2 of their house fires. Of the calls, we transported 179 people in the past 30 days. Transitioning from calls to department updates and news, we're in the final stage of our semi-annual firefighter eligibility list. Every 2 years we update that. We have 25 that are currently on the list. They have applied, they've taken the written test, and they've also done the online interview. So we're reviewing those right now, and that list, again, is by statute. Every 2 years we're required to maintain that active list. So we also released our triennial, not 3 times a year, but once every 3 years. The words are spelled very closely, I learned today when I was making this. So every 3 years we do our notice of promotional examinations for officers, and that is also by state statute. You have to do it no more than 3 years. The list can be valid no more than 3 years, but it has to be valid at least 2 years. So we do a 3-year list every 3 years. We do that. It is going to be, the actual process is fairly long, including a study period. So the actual assessment center is going to be this December, and the written exam for January. So the list will go in effect January 27, and then 3 years, or February 27. 3 years is February of 30. The interesting part of that is 6 of our 7 officers will become eligible to retire during this list. So our last promotional list, there was absolutely no movement. This one, I think there's like 15 or 18 of the 21 firefighters testing for promotion. It's anyone that has more than 5 years can do that. So the last update I wanted to give you is that on our behalf, or for our contract, Metro Paramedic Services is collecting applications. They're hiring to fill a vacancy in our contract. That position opened when a supervisor was transferred to another contract. And Metro is promoting a supervisor from within ours, so to swap everything, they are moving shifts. So the way that works is that the members are, Metro's employees are permanently assigned to our department, and they are assigned to regular shift work, so they're used to working with the same crews day in and day out. So there's going to be a switch on one of the rigs on all 3 shifts. So still have excellent care. We'll find someone good to fill that spot, and we'll continue doing what we do. So that completes my report, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay. Alderman Peterson.
Well, thanks,
Mayor, maybe a couple of questions. How have the overdose EMS calls trended? Those still been favorable?
So, yeah, it didn't come up as I could pull up the report. If I can answer, it'll take me 30 seconds, so I don't want to take our time to do it, but it's possible that we didn't have any because it didn't flag or come up, so I'll double check on that for you.
Good, then just a second, probably comment more than anything that the brush fires don't seem to have been as prevalent lately, as dry as it's been. Have you guys had a lot of mutual aid to deal with a lot of that?
Well, we've been fortunate. It has been dry. We haven't had too many, or really we haven't had any that have done that. So, yeah, for now it has not been an issue for us.
People have been careful.
We've been making sure that nobody's doing any unauthorized burning. So.
Yeah. Anybody else have any questions for Chief Shadle? All right, thank you, Chief. Appreciate it. Chiefs, item 3, Finance and Personnel Unfinished Business, we have none. Item 4, Finance and Personnel New Business. A, Finance Director Update. Director Turnipseed, good evening.
Good evening. Tonight's update is really just a quick check-in on a few upcoming presentations we have. With the audit wrapping up, Sickage will be coming to present the results. If there's anything you would like them to cover or include in their presentation, please let me know ahead of time so I can pass it along. Also, at the end of September, our actuaries from Lauterbach and Amen will be presenting the police and fire pension funds. If there's any questions or something you'd like them to address or topics, please let me know and I can have them prepared to discuss. Lastly, next month I'll provide the City Council with an update on how we're doing with the first quarter of fiscal year 27. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Director. If there's any other questions outside of that scope, feel free to ask. Floor is open. All right, hearing none, we'll move on. Thank you very much, Sarah. Item 5, other unfinished business, we have none. Item 6, other new business. Item A, we have the amendment to 106-190 pertaining to the electric utility tax. In your packet was a memo from Attorney Drella regarding the amendment pertaining to the electric utility tax. I think it speaks for itself. Essentially, this is being attached as a proposed amendment to our utility tax to capture electricity generated by a user for their own consumption as opposed to purchased at retail. It seeks to ensure that the electric end user that generates and uses their own power will pay an electric tax the same as other corporate and residential residents to the city. It only imposes a tax on the regular generation of power for the generator's own use and contains obvious exemptions for emergency generators. So, City Attorney, you and I had talked about this, and subsequently this is the memo. Did you have anything else to add?
First, I apologize. It's not my best writing sample. I'm looking at it. I've written better. Essentially, I was reading Cranes and kind of looking around what's going around in the area, and as we all know, in different states, Illinois included, the power companies, in our case ComEd, don't always provide power on a expeditious level or benefit to new industry. And so what you're seeing across the country is some industries, when they go to open up, they'll actually bring in their own power generators. And there's an entire slew of new providers where they sell essentially a boxcar or a semi-sized generator. They plop it in an industrial park and produce enough power for small industrial end users, and they use that power instead of buying it through the provider like ComEd. And the only way we currently get our tax is through ComEd by virtue of what's utilized at the meter, based upon kilowatt hours purchased from ComEd, or at least through a supplier that uses ComEd as its backbone. So this attempts to do exactly what we did with the gas use tax on natural gas, when we impose a tax on purchasing natural gas from out-of-state suppliers, as opposed from NICOR. It also does the same thing we did with our local motor fuel tax recently when we amended that to tax, for example, fueling fleets, for example, at Walmart or what have you, where they're not purchasing their local fuel at a gas station. If they're going to fill their tanks, even where they buy at wholesale, they still have to pay that use tax. So this is an attempt to do the same thing. It's not going to hit residential users because even if they have solar, that's being backfed into the grid, and they're getting the power, and it's metered at the meters. So it's really going to get, in the event we do have a new supplier park, for example, where they can't get ComEd power right away and they have to generate their own power, to ensure that they pay the tax the same as any other user in the city. What it does not have, and actually Sarah brought this up this morning, in the event they use natural gas to power their generators, we may want to consider or look at some kind of an exemption for that, because then if they're purchasing their gas through NICOR, they'd be paying the higher gas tax as opposed to electric. So we may want to look at that. But we want to get this before the council for their consideration and hopeful advancement to city council for adoption.
Keep in mind that the Walmart distribution facility has been going on, almost 2 years, I think, when they started to determine what they needed for megawatts out there to serve that. And but anything that ComEd seems to be involved in, not only do you have some people claiming that part of the reason that they are not able to determine how much power they're going to be able to sell them is because of usage, because of what the demand may be, but they're just plain slow. And so it makes it difficult. Now, how long some of these may use these, I know we have a new customer in town, Generac, and they build just those. That's what they build. They build, I think it's 5 kW a generator and a portable, but that's what they use. So, they'd be paying it if they were hooked up to the electricity. The problem is that they can't guarantee what that time frame may be. So, anyhow, if there's any questions on that, feel free to ask. So I guess then I would need a motion supporting amendment as defined to 106-190 pertaining to the electric utility tax for regular generation of power. What else would you want on that, Mike, regarding the utility tax being applied?
Just a motion to forward to city council an ordinance amending section 110.
106-190?
Yes,
Okay.
to provide for,
Motion by Alderman Peterson, thank you, and a second by Alderman Hoynes. Thank you both. Any questions, any comments regarding the motion on the floor? The floor is open, feel free to ask. Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And if anybody's opposed, same sign, or any abstention. Motion passed, thank you. And then item B, hiring a full-time plans examiner / inspector with the building department. In your packet is a memo dated July 20th, 2026 from Director Craig Wilcox regarding the hiring of a full-time plans examiner and inspector. I don't have to remind the council that that was the job that the current director, Mr. Wilcox, has. And certainly, we talked about that regarding how we're going to meet the demand of a lot of the new businesses and how he's going to do, how it is very, very difficult to do both jobs. And not only that, but we also have a shortage right now in our inspector for nuisance abatement for code violation. So we're pretty short-handed. We thought it would probably be a good chance to get ahead of the game before we get further behind. But Director Wilcox, do you have any comment?
Just that we've got plenty on the plate right now with new
new buildings going up, new commercial buildings, let alone, we've got three big residential going in. They're over $1 million a piece, so just those alone will create enough inspections to add on to that. So I'm just looking to get my previous position filled with full-time. Like the mayor had said, we're short our code enforcement officer also, so we're looking to get that position filled as soon as we can. Keep in mind that, it'll be a succession plan for Mr. Wilcox. That will be the individual, kind of like what we did with, in planning a succession for Brent Anderson. When he left, we brought Jordan in. And I don't know, what was it, 2.5 years, Jordan, 2 years?
It was about 3 years.
Has it been 3? Okay. So, and even that, I can guarantee you, even that isn't enough. But it's certainly helpful, I think. If you do it that way, you have less fallout whenever that valuable individual leaves, and that'd be a good plan, succession plan in this case too, I think, so.
And I guess I would point out, back in the day, that department was staffed with a full-time inspector that did the commercial work. That was typically the director, but also staffed by 1 to 2 full-time residential inspectors, plus a code enforcement officer. We've never gotten back to that staffing level since the recession. But I think as we start to see a boom in some industrial and commercial development, that's going to actually get greater once we have Chrysler starting to reopen and suppliers come in. You're going to want to have the succession plan in place as that hits. Someone that's familiar with the department, familiar with the city, as we try to keep pace with that development.
I would agree. All right, if there's any questions for Director Wilcox or anyone else, the first motion I would ask is request motion to amend the fiscal year 2027 budget to authorize a salary not to exceed $78,000 for a full-time building inspector. Please note that this will require an adoption of an appropriate ordinance. If I could have that motion, please. Motion by Alderman Fleury, thank you, and a second by Alderman Hoynes. Thank you both. Any questions regarding that, feel free to ask. I think we're trying to Band-Aid this as quick as we can, or put a tourniquet around it as we go. So this will certainly be a help. Alderman Burton?
Thanks, Mayor. So we discussed this at our last budget retreat, and I am in favor of getting the building department more help. I touched on that as well, but then we decided we were going to take the wait and see approach. So I'm not in favor of amending the budget. At this time, I'd like to do it at the appropriate time. So I'd like to make a motion to send this to the next budget retreat. I think it's not too far away, and then, again, I'm in favor of it. I'd just like to do it with the funds that we have.
Well, I can understand your point, but I think the reality is that we definitely have a shortfall here of staff, and we have an abundance of work. And I would ask the council not to do that. If you want to make that a motion, that's up to you, but I would ask that we not do that. I think in reality, that sounds like it may be a good idea, but I think that we'll be so underwater by the time that comes around that, we're going to have all kinds of issues. Certainly, Stellantis is going to be coming on board, but there are going to be, besides just the residential, besides the things that we have right now that Craig is, Director Wilcox is doing both his old job and what Kip did. So I certainly didn't hire him to do both jobs. I think whoever we hired was going to do one job, but certainly we can't do both jobs, and we certainly can't do them well if we do. And I've already experienced that since we've had this shortfall, and that's why I brought it to you guys to see if what your thoughts were. But if you want to make that as a motion or an amendment to extend it, go ahead. I would recommend against it, but for those reasons.
Yeah, first, no, I'd like to try to make that motion.
Okay? So the motion you're making is then to hold off on this until the budget year, to the end of the
To the
beginning of
next budget retreat
Okay.
and then properly address it.
Okay,
If you don't mind, Alderman Brereton, I guess it'd be a motion to postpone to, usually put a date certain, we have no idea when that budget retreat's gonna be, but it's usually the committee, so well, I guess it'd be a motion to postpone to the committee of the whole budget retreat for FY 2028.
Very good, thank you.
okay. All right, we have that motion on the floor. If there's a second, feel free. That motion's lost, thank you. So we have the original motion on the floor then for the request with motion one, as was stated. If there's any questions regarding the original motion to amend the fiscal year 2027 budget to authorize a salary not to exceed $78,000 for the full-time building inspector, please note this will require an adoption of an appropriate ordinance. That'll come later on with this. So that's the motion, request one, anyhow. If there's any other questions regarding the motion, Alderman Brereton?
Thanks again, Mayor. So forgive me for not doing enough homework here. So why can't we just replace with the new person, with Director Wilcox's previous position? Why do we have to increase the budget? I guess I'm missing something.
Because he was part-time, he was
Well,
half-time.
I understand
So
that.
it changes it does change the budget, but he was here as a part-time, half-time, is that right?
Yeah, I was hired to do 1,000 or under, 1,000 hours or under, to keep me out of the IMRF, is what it was. And I had 25 years of doing inspections, plan reviews. That's what I came here with. So being part-time, I was given full-time, what do I want to say? I was working full-time, but only, here part-time. But beyond that, we are typically 2 weeks in a review process. That means when something gets submitted in 2 weeks, we have a review, and it goes back to the architect or civil, and right now, we're at least 4 weeks out. We've already doubled that because it's just me trying to do inspections, plan reviews, any other things that come in, my emails, my voicemails. I mean, it's getting overwhelming. So I need somebody in there as soon as we can.
The easy answer, Mr. Brereton, is for whatever reason, we've been doing this for decades now. Our budget ordinance actually identifies the exact salary for the position in the budget ordinance. And because the proposed position will be paid more than what's in that exact salary contained in the budget ordinance, that's the reason to amend it. It's not necessarily that we're going to spend more money in the actual salaries line item in that budget, because there's been a period of time now where that position hasn't been paid because it's been vacant. Director Termsey could speak better to what the actual dollar amount total salaries will be paid for the year. But the only reason really to need to amend it is the budget ordinance states that the assistant commercial plans reviewer inspector will make X, and the new position can be X plus Y, and that's the only reason for doing it.
So I don't know if that answers your question, but go ahead.
Well, I understand. I'd just be more comfortable if we just, replace like with like and then address it later at the budget.
Yeah.
That was my idea, but that's okay.
Yeah,
Thank
and that is, we were we were fortunate, we were very fortunate. We were very fortunate that we had somebody who didn't have to come up to speed. We didn't have a succession problem until Director Countryman left. I guess Kip would have been doing probably just what he had been doing, but he did step up because he has experience with that job. And now, will we be able to find somebody with part-time that has part-time pay with the experience he has? I would doubt it, but that doesn't bode well for any succession plan in the next 3 years. That's a reality no matter who's here in any of these desks or in this desk. That's going to be a reality, and 3 years goes by in a hurry. And so that's how I feel about it, but, you know, so we have the request, motion as I read it, that's a motion on the floor. And if there's any other questions regarding that, or any other amendments anybody wants to attach to it, we can deal with those appropriately. Feel free. Alderwoman Graham-Kowski?
Thank you, Mayor. I just have a question. You said that this position will help with code enforcement?
So our code enforcement officer is off right now, and when she gets back, she'll only be back for 3 weeks, and then she'll be retired. So,
Right now, when I have a call, for instance, and that's why I said even I'm affected by it with the calls that I get, but I have nobody else to go to except the director. So whether I like it or not, we don't have another body that we can go by as code enforcement. So that's another hat that he's wearing right now as well.
So do you have a succession plan for the code enforcement officer within 6 weeks or 8 weeks?
Hopefully.
I think I do, yeah, I think so.
And the reality is Craig's old position
Yeah.
always helped with code enforcement anyway. I mean, one person couldn't always get out and inspect everything, so he would help out with that in the past as well.
I was just curious because you said you're 4 weeks behind. So how much time would be allotted to code enforcement if you trying to play catch-up? That's all I'm concerned about.
Well, I think he puts the fires out. I think the ones that are a burning fire, I think he puts them out. I know he does because a lot of them will come to my desk and I ask him if he would address it, but I'm not the only one. There are other people that call, and I don't prioritize only the ones that I know of with him, and rightfully so. I'm not gonna try and take him away from whatever can wait and whatever is a priority. But needless to say, you know, it's not gonna get any better. I'll tell you that. And when we have people come here and they ask for, you know, help or guidance from the city, we'd like
this
to-
would go a lot faster too if everybody submitted approved plans, but it's not that way. So we've got enough amendments and stuff in our ordinances that they don't ask ahead of time. So what happens is they submit, they throw stuff at the wall and see what sticks, and then we kind of go from there. So then we do a plan review, that gets sent out. 3 to 6 weeks later, we get something back, and hopefully they've addressed all of our issues. And then it'll go fairly smooth after that, but it's just getting them caught up to a lot of our ordinances.
Alderman Peterson?
Thanks, Mayor. I'm just going to comment that, you know, once the applicant has submitted their fees, their application fees, permit fees, they're due an expeditious review of what they've submitted. You know, certainly, I'm in favor of moving on this one when we can, so that we don't leave them in limbo. I mean, this was one of the bone of contentions that the legislature had and the governor had in the last session, to want to authorize developers and builders, if they weren't satisfied with the expeditious plan review that they got, they were going to be allowed to farm that out to third parties. So, I mean, we want to fix this on our end.
Yeah, currently, we do them in-house, and there's a lot of good buy-in to that, you know. You send it out, we're at their mercy, you know, for return.
Well, I would agree. I think that's a great point. Yep. Any other comments, questions before we call for a vote? Hearing Alderman Barrett.
Thanks again, Mayor. So I got a couple things here. So it sounds like we're gonna be replacing the code enforcement officer, and I know looking ahead here, so are we gonna be replacing the code enforcement officer like with like, or are we gonna need to increase that package or something?
I don't know, the motion on the floor, though, is not that. We
Okay,
have a
then,
motion on the floor.
related to the
That's
motion
out of-
on the
that's out of-
floor,
That's out of order.
related to the motion on the floor.
Okay.
Again, forgive me not having this all memorized, but as far as the budget goes then here's, we're amending it, does that put us over the budget? Are the revenues the exact same as the expenditures, or we still have plenty of clearance there? Do you-
We will have plenty of clearance there. We'll be fine.
Okay, thanks.
And also, back at the time of the retreat, unfortunately, we did not know that Kip would be retiring, so that was not planned for.
I understand. Thank you.
Yeah, you know, sometimes you get these fire drills, no pun intended, Chief Shadle, but you get a fire drill and then you gotta figure out how you're gonna solve them. And not doing anything certainly doesn't make it any sooner, so, or any better. Any other questions? We got the motion on the floor. Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, requested motion 1, please say aye.
Aye.
If there's any opposed? Or any abstention? Okay, that motion passed. Thank you. And then we also have requested motion 2, which would be motion to authorize the hiring of a full-time building inspector with a salary range between $68,000 and $78,000, depending on qualifications. Director, do you have anything else on that?
The only thing I've got is that the $10,000 difference between the 68 and 78 is going to depend if they come to the table with certs for building, residential, HVAC, gas, and the energy code. So once they have those, it'll be an incremental increase up to that 78.
If I could get a motion to that, did I have it? No. I need a motion by Alderman Hoynes, second by Alderman Fleury. Thank you both. Any questions regarding the motion on the floor? Alderman Brereton?
Thanks again, Mayor. So I came into this meeting prepared. I did not want to vote for this at all. But hearing about the retiring, dealing with the building department, it's been kind of challenging lately. So I guess sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
Well, I would agree. I think it's reasonable to expect that we're going to have, we have a business to conduct here, and we better, as Alderman Peterson had pointed out, whenever people pay their permits, they expect a certain amount of work that's going to be invested by the city, and not so they have to wait any longer than they have to, at least for an answer. Whether or not we do it, or whether or not they're happy with it, at least they get an answer. And I think that's a big part of it. It's just business. So if there's any questions or comments, other? All right, hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, requested motion 2, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And any opposed? Or any abstention? Okay, thank you. That motion passed. And moving on to item C, landfill number 1, groundwater monitoring bid tabulation. In your packet is a memo from Director Keck dated 7/22/2026 regarding landfill number 1 groundwater monitoring dash bid tabulation. Director?
Thank you, Mayor. Referring to the memo in your packet, the following bids were received for the 2-year groundwater monitoring of Belvedere Municipal Landfill number 1, beginning with the July 2026 sampling period. So based on further review of our current contract documents, we do have a clause in there that allows us to opt to extend our current agreement with Pace Analytical Services for an additional term at the rates for the services approved by the agreement. As you can see in your memo, the current rates per the agreement is $12,920 in comparison to what we opened during the bid opening. Therefore, I have 2 recommended motions. The first recommended motion would be looking for a motion to reject all bids for the landfill number 1 groundwater monitoring.
If I could have a motion to that effect, please. Motion by Alderman McGee, second by Alderman Peterson. Thank you both. Any questions regarding that? Alderman Peterson?
I do, thanks, Mayor. Director Keck, would the extension with Pace Analytical, is that $12,920, is that just for the 1 year, or is that gonna be each year, or is it a 2-year extension or 1-year extension?
So the way our current contract reads is we can opt for two separate one-year contracts with them. So that $12,920 is actually the price for 2 years, but just to compare apples to apples, I put that in there. So it'll actually be like $6,000 for this 1 year, and then again, next year, we can opt one more time to extend the contract, so.
Okay, I get it. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions regarding the motion on the floor? All right, those in favor of the motion to reject all bids for the landfill one groundwater monitoring, please, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And if there's any opposed or any abstention, that motion passed. And number two,
And the second motion will be a motion to exercise the right to extend the existing contract with Pace Analytical Services for the landfill number one groundwater monitoring for an additional term.
okay. Motion by Alderman Peterson, thank you. Second by Alderman Albertini, thank you both. Questions regarding that? Obviously, it's a good position to be in when you get the bids and you can go with what you have gone with already, and it's still cheaper, so appreciate that, Jordan. If there's any questions regarding that motion, feel free to comment. Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And if there are any opposed or any abstentions, and that motion passed, thank you. We have item E, there's nothing for this evening, so we won't go into an executive session. I'm sorry. What's that? Oh, I'm sorry, yeah. Okay, and then we have recommended motion regarding the memo that Jordan put out, Director Keck put out, also dated 7/22 regarding landfill 2 monitoring bid tabulations. Director?
It's okay, so this is gonna be more of the same. It's the same deal where we had the bid opening a couple weeks back, and this is just the landfill number 2 portion. As you can see in the memo, that going with Pace for an additional term will save both the city and the county money. So, recommended motion 1 for this one will be the same deal. Looking for a motion to reject all the bids, this time for landfill number 2, groundwater monitoring.
If I could have that motion, motion by Alderman Peterson, second by Alderwoman Gramkowski. Thank you both. Any questions regarding that? As you can see, that it's cheaper to go with Pace regarding the 2 bids that we had. I don't think anybody wants to pay more. Alderman Peterson?
And then once again, this is a 2-year, this will be for the 2-year term of it?
Correct, it's the same, so it'll be half that price for the 1 year.
Does that account for many, many more numbers of monitoring wells for number 2 than what there was for 1?
So we're still, with the landfill number 2, we are still doing remediation-ish, so they're still, we're looking at getting it to where landfill number 1 is, but there is more requirements on this landfill for monitoring.
And then what, and then the county's gonna have a share of this too, or no?
Yeah, we split it 50-50 with us and the county.
So they gotta vote, they gotta have this vote too?
Yep. All right, yeah, it's the best bang for the buck. Any other questions regarding the motion on the floor? All right, we have the motion then to reject all the bids for landfill 2 groundwater monitoring. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And if there's any opposed or any abstention, that motion passed. And then motion 2, Director?
Thank you. So I'm looking for a motion to exercise the right to extend the existing contract with Pace Analytical Services for landfill number 2, groundwater monitoring for an additional term.
All right, if I could get that motion, please. Motion by Alderman Albertini, second by Alderman Hoynes. Thank you both. Any questions regarding that motion, similar to what we just went through, exercise? Feel free to ask. Okay, hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And if there are any opposed or any abstentions? And that motion passed. Now, item E, We still don't have anything, so with that being said, could I get a motion to adjourn, please?
Excuse me, Mayor, 1 second.
Huh? Excuse me?
Just one comment real quick.
Yeah, pardon me?
I just wanted to follow up on Alderman Peterson's question. I got the
Yeah, yeah.
exact details. So
Okay.
we had 0 overdoses, and we did have 1 mulch fire, but it wasn't a grass fire. It was in a parking lot median, and it was 5 by 20 feet approximately. And so usually those are caused from smoking materials. So I just wanted to follow up on your exact questions. That's all, sir. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Chief. Appreciate it. That's pretty prompt. All right, we have motion on the floor then for adjournment. Alderman Oberty? Yes, sir. Do we have that already? No. Thank you. And second by Alderman Peterson. All right, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Anybody want to stay? I didn't think so. For the record, we adjourned at 6:47 PM. Thank you, everybody, and have a good rest of your evening.